I'm Rear Admiral Thomas M. Dykers, retired. The story you're about to see in this chapter of the Silent Service deals with two of the best traditions of the sea. The concern of a captain for his crew and the love of a crew for their ship. It is one of the most daring exploits of the war. I'm sure you'll like it. The exotic island of Bali has held a lot of attraction for tourists. It is one of a lovely chain stretching east and west from Java to New Guinea. Its nearest neighbor to the east is Lombok Island, only 5 miles away, and between them lies Lombok Strait. The tourist would find it idyllic. But the USS Bergall, heading north from her base in Australia in November 1943, found it less inviting. The strait was loaded with Japanese bent on denying passage through this bottleneck. The Bergall skipper was Commander John M. Hyde, a veteran submariner from Flushing, New York. Lieutenant Commander Benjamin C. Jarvis from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, was not regularly attached to the Bergall. He was slated to command another submarine and was making this patrol to understudy the captain. Our executive officer was Lieutenant Robert L. Ison from Atlanta, Georgia. Bob had been an All-American end at Georgia Tech. Lieutenant Edward G. Welch from Mendham, New Jersey was the torpedo officer. Lieutenant H.E. Drew, Jr. from Orange, Connecticut was the diving officer.
Downscope. They're all right. Usual welcoming committee, I guess.
How many?
I can see 2 of them.
Well, there's usually 3. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Earl must be up at the north end this time.
That's par for the course.
Come on, Skipper, let's knock these guys off.
They're too small. Torpedoes might pass right under them.
Yeah, but they pack a lot of gunpowder for their size, though.
I know how Ed feels. Hate to have to keep sneaking through here.
When we get through laying our mines in the Gulf of Siam, we'll need every torpedo we get on board. We're after a lot bigger game than patrol boats.
I guess you're right, Captain. But somebody ought to clean this place out. It's not so bad when we're going north because we're always in good shape. But if one of the subs gets hit, it's going to have a rough time getting through on the way back home.
Be a nice job for the air boys if they could keep it open.
All right, let's dispense with the ifs and get on with the job. Up, scope. I don't think he knows we're here. Down, scope.
We'll hug the coast of Bali as we go north. You got the charts?
Yes, sir. How far off the beach you want to run, Captain?
About a mile.
That's awful close.
Hugging close to the Balinese coast, the USS Bergall took advantage of the noise of the breakers pounding on the rocks. It prevented the Japanese patrol boats from hearing her as she worked her way through. By nightfall, she was in the open ocean, where she surfaced. And headed towards the Gulf of Siam and her mine plant. It seemed almost peaceful in those southern waters. A light, warm breeze, and just enough sea to keep it interesting. Bergall was running along on all 4 of her powerful engines. Watch officers and lookouts were probing the horizon while they tried to keep thoughts of home from clouding their vision. A moment's lapse in the wool gathering would be fatal. She threaded her way through the narrow waters of Parramatta Strait, which was held in strength by the enemy. In and into the open stretches of the South China Sea. Here at last was open water, and the boys of the Bergall breathed a big sigh of relief. They set a course directly for the Gulf of Siam, where they were to plant their mines. But when they got into the shallow waters of the Gulf, something happened.
Contact on the radar. Bearing 342.
Surface contact bearing 342. Surface contact bearing 342.
342.
What is it, Drew? I don't know yet. We can just see your tops in the periscope. All ahead full, station tracking party. All ahead full.
Using the advantage of being able to see with a powerful glass from a very high point, the Bergall was able to stay out of sight during the remainder of the day, while they made sure of the enemy's course and speed. When it got dark, they bored in to make the attack on the surface. By this time, they knew their target. It was 2 warships.
The near one looks like a light cruiser. The far one's probably a destroyer.
Could be. I can't see him well enough yet.
What speed do you get, Ed?
16 knots.
Target speed still checks at 16 knots.
Okay, Bob. Let's close and shoot now as fast as we can. Give me a sounding.
Sounding?
7 fathoms.
7 fathoms.
Very well. If they detect us, we're going to be in bad shape.
Not kidding. We sure can't dive in 42 feet of water, and we can't outrun them.
This is going to be smart only if it works. The near one. It's a heavy cruiser.
Bergall class.
They've zigged toward us.
Radar and block both show the target has zigged toward us.
Make ready, all torpedo tubes on the double.
Make ready all torpedo tubes on the double.
We've hit it across our bow.
Has the target speeded up?
No, it still checks at 16 knots.
All ahead, 1/3.
All ahead, 1/3.
They don't see us yet, Ben, but they're becoming a lot faster. We just hold this course a couple of more minutes, we got them.
All torpedo tubes ready.
Mark bearing.
Set. Fire!
Stand by the stern tubes.
Won't need him, Captain. She's broken in half.
Where's that destroyer?
She's on the other side of the cruiser.
Let's get moving. All ahead flank.
All ahead flank.
Radar shows both ships are stopped.
I think you got both of them.
One of the fish must have hit the second ship. I'll work around behind them and finish them off on the other side. Right full rudder.
Right full rudder.
Their ammunition's exploding.
That looked like gunfire to me, Captain.
Hitting forward torpedo room. Firing forward torpedo room. I repeat, hit forward torpedo room. Fire forward torpedo room. Let's get these mattresses. Let's step up the holes. Come on. Get in there. Cover those holes up. forward head. No one's hurt. No casualties.
Are we taking any water?
No, sir. There's a neat 8-inch hole on the port side. The shell broke up going out. Took a 4-by-5-foot section with it.
The bottom of the hole, how far above the water line?
About 2 feet.
Thank God for a smooth sea.
Head stuff and mattresses in the hole now.
Good. Radio report to the force commander. Now let's get out of here.
Left full runner. All ahead full.
Left full rudder. All ahead full.
They couldn't possibly dive with that hole in the hull. The nearest place that they could put in for repairs was Darwin, Australia, which was 1,800 miles away. 1,200 of that controlled by the enemy. Before they could get in the clear, they had to pass through 2 narrow straits. Caramata was not so bad, but Lombok was always a tough one.
They'll be looking for us at daylight for sure. There's nothing we can do to hide when the aircraft come over. I don't want to seem pessimistic, but the chances of getting this ship home are 50 to 1 against. Might as well face the facts. Now, there's some small islands off the coast of Borneo that are unoccupied. We could head over there and scuttle the ship. Or we could put some of the crew ashore and the rest of us try to get her back. Third alternative, keep the crew intact, run the gauntlet. What do you think?
Well, putting the crew ashore and scuttling would be the sure thing to do. We'd all be saved. But I don't think we'd like it that way. We'll always figure that maybe we could have brought her in.
Most of the crew put this ship in commission, Captain. I don't think they want to give her up if there's any chance of bringing her through.
I go along with Bob.
Thanks, boys. I'm glad to know you would have done the same thing in my place.
Message from the force commander.
Rendezvous with Angler, latitude 2 degrees 11 minutes north, longitude 107 degrees 21 minutes east. Transfer personnel and scuttle ship at your discretion. Hey, there's a break. I didn't know she was anywhere around. We'll transfer all but a skeleton crew. The rest of us will try to get her back. So that's it, men. We'll make the transfer at daylight. I just want to remind you there's very little chance of getting her through. Any of you want to volunteer to stay with the ship? Turn your names in to the executive officer. Before we transfer the crew, I want you to rig all the machine guns topside. Plenty of ammo at each gun.
Aye, aye, sir.
Another thing, break out the demolition charges. Strap them to the mines in each torpedo room. If they take us, they won't get much.
Captain, every officer and man of the ship's company has volunteered to stay.
Bob, you designate those men we'll need. 3 helmsmen, 3 electricians.
Hello, Johnny.
Howie. Ben, you know Howie Bissell, the angler skipper.
Yes, sir. But I don't remember you ever looked this good before.
You got trouble, huh, Johnny?
Yeah, they really winged us. We not only can't dive, but we might lose her in a rough sea. I want to send over 60 men and 1 officer.
Right. Now, how do you see the trip back?
We'll go ahead as fast as we can. You follow astern. If the planes come over, you dive. We'll fight them off with our guns. If they get us, maybe you can fish some of us out of the drink.
How about surface ships?
We'll try to outrun them. If we can't, you dive. We'll lead them past you for a torpedo shot.
Sounds good, Johnny. We'll do it that way. Can you do 18 knots?
Well, if the sea stays flat, we can.
Let's try it. That'll put us off Lombok Strait 3 nights from now. Well, I better get back. No telling when those zoomies will pay us a visit. Johnny, if you change your mind, decide to scuttle her, you let me know.
Howie, when we get to Lombok, don't hang around. If we get caught, there's nothing you can do. And, you might lose the angler.
We'll see, Johnny.
God was watching over Bergall and Angler. In an area teeming with enemy activity, they steamed boldly through the Caramata Strait arrived off Lombok without being seen. Lombok, only 5 miles wide and heavily patrolled. This was the big hurdle.
A message from the angler, Captain. It just says, go, Johnny, go.
I guess that means we're on our own. All ahead, flank.
All ahead, flank. I kind of like this, Mr. Rice. Chow on board for 85 people and only 24 of us to eat it. Well, you can have anything you want. You cook it yourself. Say, I made some of them South Georgia biscuits you like.
Thanks, but I'm not hungry. Right now, I'm looking for that guy they call Roll.
Okay. Well, I'll set them down. Maybe you'd like some later.
There he is. Contact on radar. Barry, 340.
340. Lady Luck, don't leave us now.
Men assigned demolition charges. Take your stations.
I can't pick him up.
Pretty dark night.
The patrol boat appears to be stopped.
Very well. Bring a right course 170. We'll give him a wide berth and try to slip by.
Yes, it's definite. He's on a course across our bow.
He's moving across our bow.
Must have us on radar. He sure can't see us.
There he is. Dead ahead. Left full rudder.
Left full rudder.
We've dodged astern of her. Steady on 140.
Steady on 140.
He's still going away. Tell maneuvering to give us all the speed they've got. I can't see him anymore. Bring her back to course 170.
Bring her back to 170. If I ever bump into the guy who designed our camouflage, the drinks will be on me.
Captain, he's turned to follow us. He's up to 16 knots. The book says that's top speed for his type.
He was stopped like a fox. Now they've mousetrapped us between him and Shake and Rattle.
Cut it. We've lost number 2 engine. No oil pressure.
How long will it be out?
They don't know.
We've still got almost as much speed as they have been. If they're being directed from radar ashore, they'll be slow in detecting our changes in course.
Maybe Shake and Rattle won't even be on station tonight.
2 contacts on the radar. One at 20 degrees on the port bow. The other at 20 on the starboard bow. Both 6,000 yards.
Both at 6,000 yards?
Yes, sir. And the ship astern has closed the range to 3,500 yards.
They're bringing them up together.
The Bergall was here. Roll was astern, but gaining on him. Shake and Rattle were moving in abreast of each other. Johnny Hyde and his boys were neatly boxed in.
How about that engine?
They're still working on it.
It's not the oil loop pump. I'll check the main supply valve.
Ben, I'm going to head right for this fellow on the port bow. When the range gets to 2,000 yards, I'm going to cut right back and run for the hole between them. Left full rudder. Steady on 140.
Left full rudder. Steady on 140.
If you're right about the radar ashore, we may slip between them before they know what's coming on. If you're not, we're going to be whipsawed by them both.
We'll see in pretty short order.
Captain, that fellow astern is still gaining.
What's the range dead ahead?
2,500 yards.
Keep those ranges coming on the ship ahead.
2,400 yards. Range 2,100.
I got him, Ben. Dead ahead.
Yeah. I see his bow wave.
Range 2,000 yards.
Right full rudder. Steady on 180.
Right full rudder. Steady on 180.
Keep an eye on him, Ben. I'll try to find the other one.
Try it now.
Number 2 engine is on the line.
There he is. He's going by.
This one, too.
Turning in.
So is this one.
Gunfire. We're both firing. They've jumped their own ship, the one that's been chasing us. Don't let him have it.
Radar shows the enemy has stopped.
They're shooting up their own ship.
They're shooting up their own ship.
Range is opening fast. 4,500 yards.
I'll be back in a moment with our special guest. One thing is dead certain. As long as they live, no one can ever accuse these boys of taking the easy way out. Now I want to introduce to you the Bergall skipper, Captain John M. Hyde, United States Navy, and her executive officer, Commander Robert L. Ison, U.S. Naval Reserve.
Admiral?
Gentlemen, you certainly did a fine job bringing that ship in. Would you like to do it over again?
Every now and then I catch myself thinking it was fun. But it's only because it was a long time ago. I know better.
If I had known I was going to come out with my hide, no puns intended, Captain, I wouldn't have minded. But we didn't expect to. It makes a big difference.
It's almost a miracle they didn't sight you from the air.
Yes, the Japs were pretty strong there in those days. Our luck held out when we needed it.
It took more than luck, and that's obvious. Well, Johnny and Bob, we greatly appreciate your being here with us.
Thank you.
I know I speak for everyone looking in
Well,
when I
thank you,
say
Admiral.
congratulations on a fine piece of submarining. We're all very proud of you and the great crew of the Bergall. I hope you will be with us again for another true and thrilling chapter of the Silent Service.